Welcome back, viewers. You are still tuned in to Prime Live. Did you know that the Jacaranda tree, found mostly in Pretoria and some of the older parts of Johannesburg suburbs, is actually a species that is native to Brazil and only came to South Africa during the gold rush days of the 19th century? These beautiful purple flowers make their annual guest appearances with the onset of spring in late September and continue on until November, transforming the avenues of streets of Pretoria into a spectacle of the year. We are joined this evening by Jason Sampson in the Manie Schijff Botanical Gardens Curator at the University. I'm such a fan of, driving through the streets of Johannesburg and just enjoying this spectacle. However, what I also want to talk about and what I want to get started on our conversation in this evening is that the University of Pretoria was where some
in 1888. It's two specimens in Sunnyside. They still exist and they're in the grounds of the Sunnyside School. Okay. Jacaranda trees on the campus and the sports campus of the university. We've got a lot of beautiful big specimens.
it's amazing to know a little bit more about their history. Actually started here, and it is really a spectacular time of the year where the flowers really blossom and everyone goes out to enjoy them. Was this the
Adapted to our conditions, which unfortunately has led to them being able to reproduce themselves in our conditions. But they were very two jacaranda trees to every citizen who'd allow them to take out a big tree that might interfere with the new sewage system. So a lot of also a huge event, but the jacaranda is very much tied into the history and it's only a couple of years older than ours in Sunnyside, so you know. But certainly around this time, the jacaranda trees were becoming very popular across southern Africa. There's beautiful.
And it's amazing to see their beauty and their glory, but as beautiful as they are and as tempted as we are to keep planting, how they are actually very harmful for the environment as well.
Well, you see, they come from a very similar habitat in South America. So they do very well in ours. It's something that we call pre-adaptation. Cross without any of their natural predators or diseases. So they can They have been classified as Category 1 invasive species in the National Environmental Management Act. You, it's not 100% true that they're 100% illegal to plant. Exceptions, but those exceptions are few and far between.
Them extinct anytime soon. However, in light of global warming, how important is it for Pretoria and Johannesburg's purple jungle?
Well, I mean, global warming or climate change is going to threaten a lot of different species of trees. One of those is by encouraging pests and diseases. There have been so-called plagues on jacarandas in Pretoria even as early as 1947. But certainly, we're going to be needing to protect all of our trees.
Finally, could you also share with us some of the medicinal as well as the practical uses for the tree in terms of the quality of its wood and things like that?
Species in jacaranda in South America, although we only have the one planted here, is important medicinally, and effects that the plants have exhibited in research. And certainly one of the more exciting ones seems to have anti
Different color flowers. Can you take us through the different jacaranda trees as well as the other beautiful flowers that they do produce of different colors?
Okay, so in South Africa, we only grow the early 1900s. That plant can be produced from cuttings or grafting onto a normal. And let me tell you, if you think all purple is amazing, you must try a white and purple together. And there are also some at Wonderboom. Obviously, that white one also got into the nursery industry, so there's a few white ones in Johannesburg. I've seen white flowered ones in Randburg, for instance.
That sounds absolutely amazing. Thank you for sharing that. I mean, I can only the spectacle that is the white jacaranda trees. I think the most requested question we have from our viewers this evening, as jacaranda season, we have. Would you recommend are the best spots to be able to take photos with the jacaranda trees?
Look, currently this weekend, for instance, as mentioned, Herbert Baker Street, that's where the white jacarandas are planted. There's 100 specimens. They line the roads, so they're incredible at the moment. So yeah, I mean, any Pretoria,
Thank you
all
for
the areas
sharing
of
that.
Pretoria.
I know a lot of our
You know, combating climate change means in your life, realizing what impact you have on the environment and living things around you, and trying to ameliorate that effect in some way.
Thank you for sharing that. That was very powerfully said. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. It's been incredibly insightful and enjoyable to learn a bit more about these beautiful jacaranda trees that we always drive by and admire. And thank you also for sharing with us those prime hotspots to take our photos this season. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me.
It's been a pleasure. Viewers at home, I really hope you enjoyed this conversation as much as I have, just learning a bit more about the history of these beautiful jacaranda trees that we enjoy in and around Johannesburg and Pretoria, as well as finding a bit more about some of the best possible places to get your photos with the jacaranda trees. But do head over to our social media platforms and also engage with us and share with us your jacaranda. Please do send them to us on our social media platforms. Remember, the important message that was shared towards the end of the interview is that climate change is something that we are all responsible for. So it's about taking the necessary steps and actions in your day-to-day life to reduce your impact on the planet. On that note, it is time for us to head over to an ad break, and we'll come right back.